So thank you everybody for being here. I have a couple of cool stuff to share with you. So I named the presentation Personal Branding Secrets, but I'll also share some really, really good stuff that I learned at Tony Robbins event, Business Mastery. So I will start with that. And this is one of my favorite quotes from Keith Cunningham. Do you know who Keith Cunningham is?
Yeah.
Yes? So he was one of the speakers at Tony's event. Obviously I've seen him before at other of his events. And he says business operators get tired and business owners get rich. Now, obviously the reason is when you are an operator, it means you are too immersed in the day-to-day activities of the business. And when that happens, obviously after a little while, you get tired because you have to do all of the stuff. And for most of us, when we first start a business, that's how it is for the most part. We do the ads, we pick up the phone, we write the emails, we create the videos, the content, and everything. Now, how do you, well, by the way, I met him, had the pleasure of meeting him at the event. He's so funny. I love his sense of humor. He's really, really good. And I knew nothing about accounting. And in 2 hours, he gave us like a Harvard masterclass in accounting. So he's amazing. If you haven't ever seen him, I recommend you do. So the ultimate goal would be for all of us to shift from business operator to business owner, right? And maybe it sounds simple, but it's not that simple. There's one first step to take. Obviously, we all know that eventually we need to leverage all of the activities that are consuming most of our time. But before we even do that, we need to find out this thing: who you are, what is your identity, and what is what the way Tony Robbins calls it, your gift of service. Now, Tony says there are 3 gifts of service. Let me see if I can draw it over here. The first one is the artist. The second one is the manager. Manager, leader. And the third one is the entrepreneur. Okay, or artist, you could also call it the skilled producer, right? So we can all be all 3 of this at the same time, yes, but one of the 3 is going to be what you are at your core. It's who you are, and you need to recognize that, because a lot of people are here and they spend a lot of time trying to be this, or somebody's here and they try to be an artist. And that is what stops them from feeling fulfilled and growing their business. So what is the artist or the skilled producer? The artist is the person with the talent, right? It's the person who has the extraordinary talent. They satisfy the needs of the community. They're very passionate in what they do and very, very talented. So a good example is tennis players. Tennis players are artists, right? Basketball players, they're artists. And Steve Jobs, he was an artist. He was not the manager, leader, or the entrepreneur who wouldn't have gotten kicked out of his own company. He was very, very passionate about his product or service. Tony Robbins is an artist. He refers to himself as an artist, even though he is a very successful entrepreneur. You have to understand what your core is. So for him, that's his core, right? So the artist is not thinking necessarily about profit. It's not thinking about selling their business because they love it so much. It's what they do the best. And they can develop the entrepreneurial abilities necessary to build a business. But it's never going to be at the same level if it's not in their core. The second one is the manager leader. So a good example here would be a basketball coach. The manager leader, he manages and meets the needs of the artist or skill producer. So every artist, every basketball player has a coach. Every tennis player has a coach. Every musician has a manager, you know? So it's because on their own, they would not be able to turn that passion into a business. So the manager leader has the skills to take the artist and put them out in the market and help them deliver that, what they do best, to the community. Now, if the team loses, so if we think about him as the coach of the Golden State Warriors, the NBA team, whose fault is it? Is it the player's fault or the coach? The coach. It's the coach's fault. And everybody's going to blame it on the coach because he didn't do the right strategy for the play. He didn't demand enough of the players. Nobody's going to blame the players. I mean, of course, the fans can blame the players, but ultimately, it's the coach that could get fired, not the player. Okay? And the entrepreneur, this is the person that creates and maintains the vision. So you have the artist, you have the manager who's looking at the strategy, who's making sure all the systems are in place, everything is working. But you need the entrepreneur, who is the person with the risk tolerance. High risk tolerance, and therefore they are the ones who take personal risk, right? An artist is usually not willing to take a lot of personal risk with their money, for example. Is that my phone? No, it's not my phone. And also, the entrepreneur doesn't mind selling the business if he sees the opportunity. The artist is the one that falls in love with the product. The entrepreneur is the one who's in it for the profits. And the entrepreneur has to work with his other two people, right, in order to create those systems to deliver what's being expected by the community, the basketball fans, the music fans, right, all of that. Now, good examples here would be Mark Cuban. So again, we took the basketball example. He owns a basketball team, but he's not the coach of the team, right? And another good example, that's Peter Guber, so I messed them up. This is Peter Guber, he's the owner of the Golden State Warriors. So these guys, they take risks. Mark Cuban on Shark Tank, he takes significant risks when he's investing in a business over there, right? So when you understand which one are you, if you're the one who loves taking the risk, doesn't fall in love with the product, you don't exactly like managing people, then that's you. If you love managing people, if you love systems, if you love that everything works, you're a manager leader, that's your profile. If you love making the video, the content, writing the emails, then you're the artist. So again, you have to ask yourself, which one are you? And once you discover this, it's going to be very, liberating, because you'll see that you've been trying your whole life to do something that you were just not built for, and you should be focusing on what is your core, and simply hire a manager or partner with an entrepreneur. You cannot hire an entrepreneur, but you can partner with one if you're an artist, right? So this was really powerful when we were at the event, because Tony Robbins says, there were thousands of people there, and he said, okay, everybody who is a manager, leader, stand up. And then he told everyone else, okay, all the artists and entrepreneurs, go talk to these people, because they are the hardest to find, the people who love managing. Most people have to do it because it's their job, but not that many people love systems and management of people. That's one thing I wanted to share with you. Now, here's another important point. Sometimes the artist makes more money than the entrepreneur or even the manager. Again, the best example is the tennis player, the basketball player. They make the most money, not the coach, not the owner of the team sometimes, because the owner of the team is taking a lot of risk there, and it's not that easy to go and sell the team tomorrow and get the money that they paid for. So for some people, they're trying to be the entrepreneur, but maybe you should just be the artist and find someone else to do that other part.
This